welcome back to my channel. So, I'm going to do the Scary Godmother book tag, which I created, so it's an original. I'm going to turn my notifications off, because that's going to get annoying.
Gonna get annoying.
Hey. So, let's just jump right into the tag, shall we? So, number 1 is Hannah, your favorite protagonist that keeps saving the day. So, okay, I know. Okay, where's the book? Here it is. I went with Ziri Green Apple from Bewitched and Oz. In this book, her and her friends have magic when they have to go and save one of their friends and try to make magic legal again. And Ziri follows her, so it's in her point of view and stuff. So she's like the main one who keeps saving the day, and she keeps saving her friends, and she's the one. It's a team effort, but in the end, it was always her that did it. You know, she's the one that had the passion. She's the one that was like, magic is a part of us, and I'm gonna fight for it until the end. And so yeah, so I had to choose Ziri for this answer because she kept saving the day like over and over again. Let's see. Next is Scary Godmother, your favorite witch. So for me, I consider a witch anyone with magic, even if they don't call themselves witches in the series. I consider if you have magic, then you're a witch. So I went with Maya from the Effigy series. If this series follows her and her point of view, and she finds out at the beginning that she's the next fire effigy. So she has to drop her entire life, everything she's built, to go and become this effigy, work for these sects, and fight phantoms and risk her life on a day-to-day basis because she was chosen when she didn't want to be. But she has power to control the element of fire, and it took a lot of training and her to like perfect her magic, but she gets very powerful with it, and I like her. And I almost went with Victoria for this answer, because if you know my channel, then you know that if you know me at all, then you know that I love Victoria, and she's my favorite character on this trilogy. But I didn't go with her because even though she is technically a witch, she controls air. It doesn't show her use her powers that often, so I went with Maya because she's my second favorite character. So yeah. Next is Skully, an underrated character who deserves more love. I did this one because Skully's my favorite character. I don't even know why. I don't know why. Usually, if you know me at all, you would figure Scary Godmother would be my favorite character, and she's my second favorite character. But for some reason, I love Skully, and I don't know why. And he's so underrated, deserves more love. So I actually have 2 answers for this because I couldn't choose one. You're lucky I narrowed it down to 2 because there are so many characters I want to choose for this one. Okay, so there is where's the book? I lost the book. Oh, here. It's right in front of my face. Of course it is. I went with Jenny from Harry Potter because she is very underrated. She is powerful. She is sweet. She is loyal. She is strong, and I just love her so much. She's my favorite female out of the series.
They didn't give her enough oomph in the movies and stuff.
Yeah,
I know.
they did, and she just deserves so much more appreciation and love because she is so amazing. She gets overshadowed by Hermione, and a lot of characters get overshadowed by Hermione, and I love Hermione, but other characters deserve more time in the spotlight as well.
But Ginny was like the most powerful Weasley out of all of them, too.
She's one of the most powerful people at that school.
She wasn't given enough.
Yeah, she definitely deserves more praise and appreciation and love because she is amazing, you know. She was always there for them. You know, she was always there for Harry, even when Harry was all hung up on show and crap. So, but she was always there for everyone, and she just deserves more love. And my other character shouldn't surprise you at all, and it's Brink from Bewitched and Oz because he's such a sweetheart. He's a cinnamon roll. I love him.
Did you say he's a cinnamon roll?
You haven't heard that?
I have not.
That's a thing that's been going around for a while now, where whenever you say someone's a cinnamon roll, it means they're like the sweetest character ever.
Wow.
So yeah.
Something new every day.
So he's one of my cinnamon roll characters, and he is so sweet, he is kind, he's loyal, and he fights for what he believes in, and he was always there for Ziri and her friends, even when Ziri was all hung up on his brother Ned, and he was still there for her until she finally realized that, hey, you know, the guy of my dreams is right in front of me the entire time, but he never, you know, he always was there.
You always chase what isn't good for you,
yeah,
and then you overlook what's right in front of your face.
But he was just always there for everyone. He's just an amazing guy.
Sorry that I'm moving the camera, people. It's just I'm trying to get comfortable here.
He's just an amazing guy altogether, and honestly, like seriously, if a guy wants to know how to be a good person and a good boyfriend, then just read this book and follow Brink. Like seriously, he is one of my favorite male characters of all time. Seriously, I love him. And if you follow my channel for a while, then you should know because I talk about him a lot actually.
Do you really?
On my channel I do, yeah. There's actually a few characters that I call my cinnamon roll characters that I just talk about constantly. So, yeah. Okay, so yeah, that was for question 3. Question 4 is Bugaboo, a character that is more than what meets the eye. And if you've seen Scary Godmother, you shouldn't be surprised by this prompt because Bugaboo seems like the scary, terrifying person, and deep down he's a softie. I also have 2 for this one because I know a lot of characters. So one is Kato from the Storymakers trilogy because when you first meet him, he's a jerk. I didn't like him. I didn't like any of the main characters on this book, but that's besides the point. Okay, but Kato had turned into, I don't know what it's called. I can't pronounce it. For some reason, I always want to call it a chinchilla, but I know I'm wrong. Because this creature doesn't actually exist in our world. It's only in this world. But for some reason, I want to call it a chinchilla, and I don't know why. I think it's called a chimera. I think that's what it's called. Maybe that's why I want to call it chinchilla. I don't know. But don't make fun of me! I think it's called chimera. But he gets turned into one of those, and he's actually he actually rules over the chimeras. That's because he's a prince, and that's who he's going to be king of one day. Those are his people, and that's a long story. I'm not going to get into it right now. But basically, he was just this real jerk, and you find out that it was more than just being a jerk. He was just really stressed because he's afraid of losing the loyalty of his people because he's a human and they're all chimeras, and he turned out to be a lot more than what meets the eye. He's a lot sweeter and kinder than people realized when you first, opened the page, and he seemed like a jerk because he kind of was. But he turned out to be better. And the other character, which should be no surprise at all for anyone who knows me, and that's Tokolo from Seekers, because he can be rough. He has anger issues, and he kind of...
Who doesn't?
He pushes people away a lot because his little brother ends up dying. Then his mother basically abandons him because she expected him to die too because her first litter of cubs died, and then Toby died. So she just expected Tokolo to die too, and she couldn't watch that. So she kind of leaves him on his own, even though he's a cub. So he's all angry all the time, hot-headed, and so when he doesn't like Udrak or Lusa when he first meets them, and then he has issues with Kalik when he first meets her as well. But he eventually lets them all in, and he turns out to be a big softie, and he actually cares a lot, and that's why he kind of built up these walls that he built up, because he got hurt badly by the one person that's supposed to, be there for him. So he built up these walls, and he seemed like this awful person who was always angry, who was hot-headed and short-tempered, and he is all those things, but he's also he's a lot more than that too, So, yeah, I love Tokolo, and he deserves more. So, next is Orson. So, I put your favorite unexpected couple because even though I put that because I ship him with Hannah, don't ask me. I know they never got together, but I can see them getting together when they get older, okay? I can see it.
We talked about this when we watched it the other day.
I like them together. I like their friendship. I think they could have an amazing relationship together. I do, so don't judge.
Judge, please, judge.
Shut up. So I put...
They actually did, I admit, look good together.
They do.
For a vampire and a human.
True. I put Allie and Mikey from the Skin Jacket trilogy because Mikey was known as the McGill, who was the beast, the ever-lost beast, okay? He was hideous, he was disgusting, he was this monster that really didn't care about much. But then he meets Allie, and she was different because she wasn't like a lot of situations like this. She's different because she's kind and she's sweet. And Allie, I love Allie, but she isn't those things. She can be a little bit mean and pushy and bossy. She doesn't take crap from anyone, not even him. And she refused to show fear from him, and she stood up to him on numerous occasions, and it surprised the crap out of him because he's never met anyone who was able to look him in the eye and stand up to him. But she did it anyways because she knew not to show him fear, you know.
So he gained respect for her.
Yes. And then out of that respect became something more. He let down his guards, and they both let each other in because I think they both built up walls. So they end up falling in love, you know. And it was just so sweet. And then they do go through a lot, and the ending's kind of sad because Allie is a skinjacker, so which means she's actually in a coma, so she's not actually dead, like most people in Everlost. So at the end, Mikey was finally able to move on to a better place, and she woke up, so they end up having to separate. It was really sad, but I ship it a lot, and they are really good together. So next is number 6, Cal Max, your favorite leader type, because like he's like the leader of the vampires. I think
he's the count.
Well, yeah, and they did mention that their son was a prince, so that would make him king. So I went with Firestar from Warriors because he started kind of at the bottom. He started out as a house cat named Rusty, and then he meets Greypaw, who brings him to ThunderClan, and because of that, he was part of this prophecy or something. At least Blue Star, the leader at the time, thought he was. So they let him in the clan where he became Firepaw, and he became a warrior, and he became Fireheart, and then eventually after Blue Star died, he had earned the respect of so many people out of the clan except for Tiger Claw, that's his name. And he became this amazing leader, and he was always there for everyone who needed him. He just did what any good leader is supposed to do. He talked to his people, he listened to them, he took suggestions, and he came from the bottom as a house cat and became so much more. And it was a beautiful journey to watch or read about. So yeah.
To watch.
Shut up. Well, I'm watching it in my head, sort of, like any real reader. Let's see.
I'm not a real reader, but I catch myself doing that.
Really? Number 7, Ruby, your favorite vampire. So, this shouldn't be a surprise to many people. You look confused. You should not look confused. Who else would be my favorite vampire?
Oh my god.
Draculaura, duh! I love Draculaura. She is my favorite Monster High character, books and movie, and she's definitely my favorite vampire. I was a little sad to find out that I haven't read about as many vampires, so that made me sad because I love vampires, so I'm going to have to go get more vampire books because I'm a little sad about that. But even if I did have more...
True story of Dracula.
Anyways,
I like true stories.
I love Draculaura. She is kind. She has the biggest heart of any monster.
She sucks.
She does not suck!
She's not as bad as Frankie.
Sucks.
She's not as bad as Frankie. But if you watch the Monster High movies, oh my god, her voice makes you want to stab her.
Okay, forget her voice, her character, okay? She is kind and she is sweet and she has the biggest heart of anyone.
She's a vegetarian vampire.
She's unique. And she loves pink. And
yeah, that in itself is weird.
But she is just so sweet. She's there for everyone, and she will always do what she needs to help her friends, and she's there for everyone. She's the first person people call in a crisis, and she just helps them get through it because she is kind and she cares with her whole. She doesn't care with just her heart. She cares with her entire soul. Okay, she is amazing. She is everything. I love Dracula.
She's dead, so does she even have a soul?
We're not answering questions like that, okay?
Just say.
Number 8 is Harry, a character who messes everything up. So I went with...
Harry is annoying.
Harry is annoying.
I do like the whole peanut butter thing, though. That was funny. We had to shut up peanut butter.
Dorothea. She's the main character. She's the one that the first book follows. And...
Is that the second one?
Yeah, this is the second one. The first one was in my purse, and that felt like a lot of work. But yeah. So Dorothea actually is the one that messes everything up at the beginning, because a lot of times it is the hero that makes everything worse, and they have to clean up their own mess. So
are they even a hero if they were the ones that screwed things up, which turned around and so they're not really a hero because they had to fix the mess that they already made.
True, but a lot of times they also have to, because even though a mess was made, there's something else that they need to fight too. And
I'll get you there, yeah.
Like on here, there's this evil witch that tricked her into making a wish because she was tired of her life. She was tired of not being able to leave her palace walls, of being forced to marry a man that she did not love, because she didn't even want marriage at all at this point. Like she didn't. She didn't like any of the stuck-up suitors she was getting, and she was tired of her life. And because of the curse that's placed on her family, she can't leave the palace walls. So she hates her life. This witch knew that, so she took advantage and tricked her into making a wish that basically broke the rules of fairy tale. Now, no one was getting their happily ever afters, and nothing good was happening because she broke the rules of fairy tale. So, yeah. So, she ends up having to leave with her servant Rexy and her suitor Kato, and they had to...
Who thinks of these names?
They had to go on this journey to stop the witch Grizz, and to also stop Blanc, who is Grizz's sister. Grizz was trying to release her from her century-old prison. So yeah, she kind of messed everything up, but you know, she was technically tricked. So I don't know if that was really 100% her fault. 'Cause she did actually think that her wish was going to come true. So that's the question, isn't it? Does that make it her fault? I think that's the question, right?
Yeah, I mean, technically speaking, she was tricked, so she didn't mean to mess it up.
Yeah, so it makes you wonder. Let me see. Number 9 is Jimmy, a character who wants revenge, and this is because, well, the second movie, Jimmy's Revenge, or Revenge of Jimmy. Yeah, that's
Revenge of Jimmy.
I went with Becca from Monster High because she had the perfect life. You know, she had her best friend and then she had her boyfriend Brett, and they were like part of the in crowd. And then at a dance, you know, a little horrible little twit, Frankie sign.
When you said little twin, I automatically thought of Draculaura.
Hey! See how mean she is to me? Okay, anyways, Frankie decides to... Okay, it's one thing to have a crush on someone that's in a relationship. You can't control that. But it's another thing to try and be with them knowing that they're in a relationship with someone else.
No.
That's drawing a line. At least that's the way I see it. Because you can't always control your crushes. Have a crush on someone with a relationship, fine. Don't make a move. But she kisses him. A whole riot breaks out because her stitches fall apart and everyone finds out there are monsters in the world. And all she wants to do is make things better, make monsters be able to be out in the public, but all she ever does is make things worse because all she cares about is boys, and she gets on my nerves, if you cannot tell. But so in the second book, all Becca wants is revenge. She even turns on one of her bestest friends because she found out that Melody was dating a monster, and that so she basically threatened to reveal the world about Jackson being half monster if she doesn't help and bring her Frankenstein, and then she was acting horrible, and even when they were able to make everyone believe that there weren't actually monsters, that was a whole big trick, Becca still didn't believe, and she was still going after them trying to discover the truth because she was angry that Brett decided he liked Frankie over her, and she was jealous.
Who the heck would like Frankie over anybody?
She has to get 3 love interests in this series. I'm like, why are all these guys hung up on this little twit? I don't know. But, anyways. So Becca wanted revenge. So when I decided to do that for this prompt, I was like, this is the perfect character because she's the first person that in my mind that's wanted revenge. But of course I did just read that book, so she was fresh in my mind. Number 9, or no, I just did number 9. Number 10 is Katie, a motherly character. Because Katie seems like the mother of the group. Like, doesn't every group have like a mother figure and a father figure? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But but I went with Kalik from Seekers because there's the friend group, my favorite friendship any book I've ever read. The 4 of them have my favorite friendship, and Kalik is definitely the mother figure.
Not that you're partial to the dang book. She's a little bit partial.
But this book is everything. And it's the friendship. It is too. You should read it. I won't stop trying to get her to read it because it's Seekers. I want everyone to read it. Toklo's the father figure of the group. Definitely, Kalik is definitely the mother figure. One reason why Kalik is one of my all-time favorite characters ever is because she is the perfect combination of being kind and sweet and being strong and fierce. I love that combination, and she just wears it perfectly. She can be hot-headed like Toklo. She's definitely a leader type, and her and Toklo clash a lot. But in the end, they would die for each other. And she's definitely, like, her and Toklo are the older ones in the group. Lusa and Udrak are a bit younger. And she's definitely motherly when it comes to Lusa and Udrak because all the 4 of them have each other. They don't have their families anymore or any childhood friends they might have had or siblings that they might have had. It's all gone. So all they have is each other. And Kalik kind of became like a surrogate mother for the 2 of them because they didn't have one anymore. So, yeah. So, and she's just amazing, and she's always there for them. They're all always there for each other, but that's besides the point. So, yeah, so I had to choose Kalik for this answer because she's definitely the mother of the group. Next is 11, Daryl, an optimistic character. He just seems very optimistic to me.
Which one's Daryl? Was he the one in the car? Or
No,
the
that
one
was Bert. Daryl
was the one dating Katie.
Yeah. So I went with Maddie from Ever After High, A Wonderland of a World. She is the daughter of the Mad Hatter. So she isn't always there, but she's really but she's really kind, and she's always there for other people. And she is very optimistic. She's very hopeful, and she sees like a better future, and she always has hope when everyone else is all ready to just give up. She's the one that kind of brings up their spirits and be like, no, we can do it. Just, she just brings everyone up. And yeah, so I had to choose Maddie for this option because it was because she's like the most optimistic character I've ever read about. So yeah, I should know I am an optimist. Unlike some pessimists, right, Mother?
Don't know what you're talking about.
Number 12 is Bert, a comic relief character. So when I was trying to
that dude is kind of funny.
When I was trying to think this, I couldn't actually think of that many comic relief characters. I don't, not off the top of my head at least. But I thought of 2, and I decided to go with one that I don't talk about often. A book I don't talk about often, actually, which is Lemire from A Tale as Old as Time, because in the movie and in the book, he can be quite funny at times. It doesn't really get much too into his character, sadly, but he is...
Candlestick?
Yeah, the Candlestick. He's funny, and he's more lighthearted like Cogsworth. He's all kind of uptight and everything, and then there's Lemire, who's the opposite, and
that's why the 2 of them are always fighting.
True. But I like Lemire, besides Belle, he actually might be my second favorite character, to be honest. I never really thought much of it, but he probably would be. But yeah, so I decided to do him because I don't really talk about him or this book that often, so I decided to change that, and he is funny, and he always brings a smile to my face, so. Number 13 is Boozle. That's the cat. Boozle.
Oh, that's his name?
Friendship you need to talk about more. So one thing I love about any good book is a good friendship. I love a good couple too. I can't do like a pure romance. Like I can't do that. That's boring. But I do like a good relationship, in the book. But my favorite thing about any book, besides this plot, obviously, because it has to have a good plot, are the characters and the friendships. And I love a good friendship. And as you probably know, because I talk about a lot of friendships. But one that I want to talk about more is, where's the book? Here it is. Allie and Nick from the Skinjacker trilogy. They meet at the very beginning after they both die from the same car accident. Their cars hit each other, and then the two of them, well, died, sort of.
Well, that stinks.
So, yeah, they didn't meet under the best circumstances, okay? And,
well, being dead wouldn't be, but alright.
So, but...
I hate meeting people when I'm dead.
Well...
I am your comic relief.
Well, I mean, it's better than falling in love with someone who's dead and then find out you're not actually dead yourself, so have to wake up and lose that person until you die
or
again.
Piper, who knows you're alive and falls in love with a ghost. Or Julie, from Julie and the Phantom.
True, exactly, see? So, people need to stop falling in love with dead people. What's wrong with you? Something you would do.
Aren't you in love with Spike and Spike's dad?
I love him. I'm not in love with him. You're in love with him.
I am.
See? Ha! Okay. Anyways,
Andy's British.
not in real life.
True.
Well, I love both Allie and Nick, and Nick's dead. And Allie was, it's hard to tell what she was. Like, she was technically in a coma the entire time. She just didn't know it.
It's like the world between life and death.
I mean,
Because
technically
you're
they're
not,
all
you're,
kind of in there.
you're not living, but you're not dead yet.
True. Anyways, Allie and Nick, they didn't get off on the best hand because Nick is a sweetheart, but Allie, as I mentioned before, she can be a bit pushy and bossy, and she definitely likes to take control. She has to be in control. So, I do love Allie, but she does have her flaws. Any good character does, though. Nick does get captured, and then he gets captured after being captured. So, Allie has to go and save him. That's actually how she meets the Miguel in the first place. And, but then they end up, after she saves him and they defeat the Miguel, they end up separating for a while. They go their own ways. Nick goes and creates this army for his war with Mary Hightower. I'm not going to get into that rant right now.
Good.
Every time I talk about her, I end up in like a 10-minute rant about how much I hate her. Like, seriously. Kind
of my feelings on Draculaura.
Draculaura is so much better than stinking Mary Hightower. She is the bane of my existence. She is worse than Umbridge. And I didn't think that was possible. I did end up going into a small rant, but blame my mother for that one.
She's probably not worse than Raph, though.
Worse than who? Did you say Raph?
I'm sorry, I'm hitting my daughter's fire right now.
Raph is awesome!
Okay, let's go on with this thing. I'm tired.
Well, you started it. But, towards the end of the second, or it wasn't really the end, but, sometime in the second book, they both found out that they were actually near each other. Allie, found out that Nick was in the same town she was, and Nick was actually looking for her, because, he was like, they thought the war was ending, so, he was like, we started this journey together, it only feels right if we end the journey together. So, and then when Allie found out that Nick was in the town, she got all happy and excited, and she got away from these evil skinjackers, so but she was too late, because they were in this little vortex. Nick took Mary into this little vortex where no afterlife survives after being in, and he was hoping to take down Mary, knowing that it will take him down. He was willing to make that sacrifice to defeat her. But Mary survived because Mary is different, and he had already become the chocolate ogre at this point, so he had melted from being in there. It's a long story.
Yeah, don't explain the chocolate ogre thing to me, please.
It's a long story. So by the time Allie gets there, she was able to defeat Mary, but by the time she got there, Nick was already defeated. And it was sad because it's like she didn't even get a chance to see him again. But then Nick was able to Mikey was able to kind of bring him back together, sort of. And they end up going to save Allie, who was kidnapped, And then, you okay? You're just looking off into nothing. So, but at the end of the book, they do finally reconnect. Nick gets all his memories back and his form back. He's no longer the chocolate ogre, and they have a sweet reunion before Allie wakes up and Nick, protects Everlost from people like Mary. So yeah, it was sweet, and I love the friendship, and it wasn't showcased as much as I think it should have, and I do want to talk about it more because I do love their friendship. See, next is number 14, the Magic House. That's house. They're 16. That the house that Scary Godmother lives in. I call it the Magic House.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Your favorite house that you wished you lived in.
Clue.
Clue. Did you really just say Clue?
I love the house in Clue.
I had to I had to do the Weasley house. That house is sneaking
What is it with you and the Weasley house?
This is awesome. She has that cool clock and she has dishes washing themselves.
Yeah, but you could get that anywhere. That's not the house. That's her.
But look at the way it stood. It just looks so cool.
It's weird.
That's why it's cool. I mean, honestly, if you look at the Weasley house and then you look at the Scary Godmother's house, it's kind of shaped in the same way.
It is a little bit.
And
Weasley house, I think, is a little bit taller.
Yeah, but I think it's cool, and I like their house, and I like Scary Godmother's house, and I like the house, so I had to go with it.
Okay.
And besides, none of my other books I think really talk about a house much. Like, I don't think many books really do get into the house that much, but Weasley house does, and I love the Weasley house, because why not? I love the Weasleys.
The Weasleys.
Number 15 is The Other Realm That They All Live In. A book that is based in a different realm. So, I went with Bewitched in Oz, because they live in Oz. I thought about Wonderland, because I would go to Wonderland before I would go to Oz, but the only Wonderland book I have at the moment is this one, and they're not technically in Wonderland in this book yet. They're about the Wonderland characters, but they're not in Wonderland. So I had to go with Oz, because that would probably be my second choice. But Oz just seems cool. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. But if you've seen the movie, I'm sure you'll agree. Oz just seems cool. I would love to go to the Emerald Palace and
Emerald City.
Emerald City.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would be cool. And I just think it's cool. I would hate to live at it during Ziri's time, considering magic is outlawed at the moment. But she fixed that. So yeah. So I just think it would be cool to have magic and be there and go on that journey with Ziri and Brink and everyone. So yeah. And the last one, question 16, is Halloween, because it's Halloween, duh. Your favorite Halloween themed book. So I only have really one Halloween themed book, but I kind of consider anything that has to do with magic or supernatural creatures Halloween themed, because
it is pretty much, yeah.
So, but I did go with the one actual Halloween book I
Hocus
have,
Pocus,
and the all new sequel. You know it. Yay! The first half of this book is just like the movie.
Almost word for word.
Yeah. So I'm sure most of you have at least heard of it. Most of you've probably actually seen it because it's that popular. I actually have a friend who's never actually seen it.
Who?
Lindsay.
Oh, you better make her watch it. You cannot go to Halloween without Hocus Pocus. Come on.
Oh, so yeah. But then the second half is 25 years later with Max and Allison's daughter, Poppy. And she knows the story, she knows everything, but of course she doesn't believe it. I'm gonna tell you this now. It's the non-believers that's gonna get the rest of us killed. What does Max does? He doesn't believe, so he lit the candle for a joke. Poppy doesn't believe, so she goes there with the spell book and makes a It's the non-believers that's gonna get the rest of us killed, so even if you don't believe, just don't. Sorry, I had to do that little rant. But yeah, she goes with her best friend Travis and her crush Isabella, and they bring back the three witches because they didn't believe. But then they end up seeing Elizabeth, which is the actual fourth Sanderson sister, but she's nice. She's
Not to mention,
evil.
it also brings back
Binks
their mom.
it brings back their mom too. And you see Binks and his little sister Emily as ghosts, so they come back. Yay. But this,
Kind of a warning.
yeah.
They warn
But
them.
this is actually a little bit different. The spell they use is different because this one, they come back out of hell, but they can only come out if they like put more people in their place. So the three of them got out, but they put Max, Allison, and Danny in hell to replace them. So
Kind of a swap.
yeah, and they end up having to work with Jay's daughter, Katie. Jay was the blonde guy who was mean to Max. And they all have to work together to defeat all these witches, because they were bringing back a bunch of witches, including their mother, and putting all these people in hell to replace them. So they had to defeat all of them, and before time ran out, and it became permanent. So yeah, so I do love this book. It was really good.
And to throw this out there, they are in the mix of making a sequel to Hocus Pocus.
I swear I'm gonna be very disappointed, very angry if they do not do it as the book.
Yeah.
Like seriously, if they just do it their own way, I'm gonna be very disappointed because I love this book and I love the characters and I love the relationships. You know, I love Poppy's friendship with Travis and her relationship with Isabella, and so yeah. But yeah, if you have not read this book yet, I definitely give it a read, especially if you're a fan of Hocus Pocus. You'll definitely like this.
If you like Halloween.
Yeah, if you like Halloween, you'll like this because it's Hocus Pocus. So that's the last one. So I'm going to tag Gian Notations. I posted something on Twitter saying I'm going to do this tag if anyone wants to be tagged, and she's like, okay, I'm in. So I'm tagging you. I hope you like to do this tag, and I can't wait to see what characters you come up with for these prompts. You can so please like and subscribe and comment your answers, or you can do this tag and tag me in it. I'd love to watch. And yeah, so that's it, and I'll talk to you guys later.